Have you ever watched a sunrise and felt like something bigger than the world was unfolding? That something unstoppable had just crept into the sky without warning. That's what Naoya Inoue was. Not a roar. Not a flash. Just an awakening. A quiet, inevitable shift in the boxing world. His story didn't begin in a palace. It didn't start with privilege or over-the-top celebrations. It started in a gym. A silent gym. With repetition, with routine, with raw intent. He was just a boy with gloves on his hands and a vision in his heart. And from that silence came the monster. In his pro debut, the man across from him was Inoue, a hard-nosed journeyman from the Philippines. Not a sacrificial lamb, not a pushover. A fighter. The kind of guy you throw in front of a prospect to test their mettle. But that night, the roles reversed. It wasn't a test for Inoue. It was a showcase. From the moment the bell rang, Naoya didn't look like a debutante. He looked like an assassin. He slipped punches without panic, reading angles with the calm of a veteran. Every counter was a scalpel, every body shot a hammer. The crowd gasped, not because a young fighter was winning, but because something unfamiliar was happening. They weren't watching a boy begin a journey. They were watching a force arrive. And then it came. A left hook to the liver, short, cruel, and final. Inoue collapsed like he'd been unplugged. Not because he quit, but because his body had no say in the matter. It was over. Just like that. Naoya Inoue, 1-0, yet, this wasn't just a win. It was a warning. His second fight didn't bring a step back. It was another step forward, this time against Thailand's Naoya Prajabchakai. The names didn't matter. The flag didn't matter. Because whoever stepped into the ring was going to get the same treatment. From the start, Inoue's punches cut through the air like whispers before a storm. He wasn't just attacking, he was dissecting, controlling the range, breaking rhythm. Every shot had a destination. Every movement had intent. The Thai fighter barely made it out of round one. Inoue didn't break a sweat. He just walked away. 2 fights. 2 destructions. The monster was stirring. Then came Yuki Sano, experienced. Tough. The kind of guy who didn't go down easily. The kind of guy who was supposed to give the young Inoue problems. But the fight was no different. From the opening bell, Inoue moved with a confidence that belied his age. He wasn't just boxing, he was imposing himself. Walking Sano down. Making him retreat. Dictating terms with every jab, every body shot. And Sano, he was trapped in a bad dream. Punches came from places he couldn't anticipate. His timing was thrown. His spirit chipped away, 1 round at a time. By round 10, the punishment had reached a tipping point. Inoue closed the show like he always does, precisely, without emotion. A knockdown, a ref's intervention, and another statement. 3-0. And the buzz was no longer a whisper. It was getting loud. But every great story needs an origin point, a moment where everything changes. That moment came when Inoue stepped in with Gerson Manchio for the OPBF light flyweight title. It wasn't just a title on the line. It was validation. A proving ground. Manchio was seasoned. Dangerous. He wasn't coming to roll over. He was coming to test the prodigy. But Naoya wasn't interested in tests. He was interested in answers. The opening round was surgical. Inoue's accuracy was already world-class. At just 20 years old, his timing could cut glass. He didn't waste energy. He didn't overcommit. He read Manchio's rhythm, then began to rewrite it. Round 2. The story was one-sided. Manchio swung hard but hit air. Inoue's footwork, fluid, ghost-like, was already special. He'd pivot away, slide in, punish the ribs, and get out untouched. The body shots echoed through the arena like warning bells. And then, round by round, the momentum built. Inoue didn't need to take risks. He created opportunities with his patience. Manchio was no quitter, but he was drowning. Every second that passed, Inoue turned the screws to be why the fifth round, Manchio was fading fast. He hadn't hit the canvas, but the referee saw it. The slump in the shoulders. The vacant look. The fight was waved off. It was the night the monster was born. Inoue's next defense came against Samertlek Kokiachim. A tough, iron-jawed Thai with pride and pedigree. But pride only goes so far. Inoue lit him up with flurries that blurred on replay. Uppercuts, hooks, laser-straight right hands. It was clean, precise, devastating. The Thai warrior was brave, but bravery, when met with brilliance, is often punished. The fight ended early. The monster had claimed another soul. Then came New Year's Eve, 2016. Tokyo's Ariake Coliseum shimmered in the night. The crowd buzzed with expectation. Fireworks outside. Anticipation inside. Because on this night, Naoya Inoue would face Kohei Kono, the former two-time world champion. A legend. A man who had never been stopped. A man known for a chin carved from granite. But granite cracks, and Inoue was holding the hammer. Round 1 was a chess match. Inoue jabbed. Kono pressed forward. It was youth versus experience, precision versus grit. Then came round 2. Inoue upped the tempo. The ring turned into a storm cloud, and Kono stood in the center, arms raised, trying to absorb the lightning. But even storms break mountains. By the third, Inoue started to break him down. Hooks. Uppercuts. Jabs that snapped Kono's head back like a whip crack. And yet, Kono, tough as ever, refused to yield. He pressed forward, daring Inoue to throw more. Did. And in round 6, it all came undone. Kono surged forward, still believing. Still fighting. And Inoue met him with a brutal left hook that spun him like a puppet with cut strings. The referee stepped in, then stepped back. The crowd roared. The coroner watched in horror. Inoue saw the finish and took it. He launched a sequence that looked almost unfair. A blur of combinations, angles, and power that seemed to violate the laws of motion. Kono tried to stand tall. Tried to return fire. But his legs betrayed him. A final right hand sealed it. Kono went down in a heap, his body spent, his soul emptied. The unbreakable had broken, and the monster climbed the ropes, not in celebration, but in quiet recognition of what he'd done. A champion had fallen. A legacy had been rewritten. The aftermath was quiet. Inoue checked on Kono and knelt beside him. This wasn't showmanship. This was reverence. A respect for what the man across from him had given. A nod to the warrior he'd just dismantled. The victory moved Inoue to 12-0. Another defense. Another myth shattered. And Kono? He was never the same. The punishment he absorbed that night didn't just end a fight. It marked the beginning of the end of his career. Sometimes, when you're hit by something that pure, that undeniable, you don't come back the same. By now, the world had taken notice. Not just Japan. Not just Asia. The boxing world. America. Mexico. The UK. They all started whispering the same thing. Who can stop him? Who can match that precision? That composure? That power? Analysts tried to pick holes in his game. They said he hadn't fought enough top names. They questioned, but none of it stuck. Because every time Naoya stepped into the ring, he didn't just win, he dismantled. He erased doubt. And maybe that's what makes him so terrifying. It's not the knockouts. It's the control. He doesn't just hurt opponents. He silences them, breaks their rhythm, dismantles their belief system. The ring becomes his, and the other man becomes a silhouette of what he was when the fight started. Inoue doesn't box with rage, he boxes with truth. Every move, every angle, every counter, it's all part of something deeper. An understanding. A fluency in violence that very few ever learn to speak. And he's still learning. Still getting better. Still chasing perfection. Oh, now, the question echoes through every gym. Every broadcast. Every whispered conversation among trainers and analysts. Can anyone stop him? Who dares step forward? What kind of man could unravel a monster whose presence feels almost inevitable? Because when Inoue walks to the ring, there's no music loud enough to drown out the silence he brings with him. That focused calm. That quiet storm. And when he leaves nothing standing. Not names. Not reputations. Just silence. Maybe someday, someone will solve him. Maybe there's a fighter out there who can match his footwork. Who can absorb the storm and fire back with something even harder. But for now, he's still walking forward. Still collecting names. Still writing a story that feels more like a prophecy than a career. And if you haven't been watching, now is the time to start. Because legends don't arrive with noise. They arrive with purpose. And the monster, he's just getting started.